Hey everyone, I'm back. This video is going to be my predictions on NXT Takeover Chicago 2 as well as my Money in the Bank predictions. So we're just a couple of days out from NXT Takeover Chicago 2 as well as Money in the Bank, and quite honestly, I'm more excited for NXT than the main roster shows. As always, you know, NXT puts on a much better show, and I'm a bigger fan of NXT as I am than the main roster. The main roster, you know, has its good moments sometimes and it has its luster here and there, but it's very few and far between, whereas NXT more so consistently puts on good, solid stuff every single week. Now, I know a lot of you, my subscribers, do not watch every single week for NXT and you just watch the takeovers, and that's okay. For me, I prefer to watch every single week. I like to see the storylines build up to culmination at TakeOver. So that's one of the main reasons why I watch NXT. And the other reason is because, you know, NXT is just all around better in my opinion. So yeah, so getting into it, on Saturday, we have NXT TakeOver Chicago 2 at the Allstate Arena in Rosemont, Illinois. We have 5 matches, and that's usually the formula for the NXT shows. It goes around 2.5 hours, give or take. So starting off NXT TakeOver Chicago 2, let's start with quite arguably the match of the weekend. Ricochet versus Velveteen Dream. This match has been building for quite a while. Ricochet and Velveteen Dream are two amazing young upstart talents. Obviously, Ricochet has a laundry list of accomplishments on the independent scene, most notably from his stint in Lucha Underground. I'm honestly loving this feud between Velveteen Dream and Ricochet. I think that if I were to book it, I would say Ricochet has to win here because he is the new talent, you know. Velveteen Dream's amazing, but in my opinion, wins and losses don't really matter as long as you put on a fantastic match. The way the WWE formula works is quite like I said. Wins and losses don't necessarily mean as much as you think they would, just because of the booking is very 50-50. So whether Ricochet or Velveteen Dream wins here doesn't necessarily matter because there's going to be more to the feud. I feel like this feud has a little bit more shelf life to it. So I'm going with Ricochet to win, but ultimately I would prefer to see Velveteen Dream win, but I don't think he's going to win this. I think that this match is going to steal the entire weekend. It's going to be amazing. Both talents are incredible, and I'm so scared, and I'm crossing my fingers that these guys get utilized correctly once they get to the main roster, because we know, judging by track record, going to the main roster as an NXT talent, it's kind of dangerous, you know? It's like a double-edged sword. Sometimes it works, very rarely, but 90% of the time it's kind of like a death wish because look at Andrade Cien Almas. Anybody? Yeah, I'll get into that in a whole nother video. Up next for the NXT tag titles, we have the Undisputed Era, Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong versus Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan. Oney Lorcan's amazing. Let me just say first and foremost, I think he's so incredibly underrated. He is one of the best in NXT in my opinion, bar none. Like in terms of wrestling ability, amazing, amazing, amazing. But to keep this short and sweet, I think this is going to be a great match. I definitely see the Undisputed Era retaining. It wouldn't make sense for them to take the belts off of them this quickly, but I think this is another match that could potentially steal the weekend. And I feel like with social media and stuff, a lot of people are sleeping on this match. They're kind of just like overshadowed by, you know, the Velveteen Dreams, the Ricochets, the Yellows, the Blacks. But I think this match has so much potential, and I think it's going to be really, really, really good. But like I said, Undisputed Era, they're hot right now. They are the biggest thing in NXT in my opinion. It would definitely make sense for them to hold the titles for a bit longer. I mean, they just won it 2 months ago. So of course I'm going to go with the Undisputed Era retaining, and I believe they're going to win clean. That is what I'm saying. Up next for the NXT Women's Championship, we have Shayna Baszler defending against Nikki Cross. So that was the big question on social media a few months ago when Sanity, did they get called up to SmackDown? Where are they? Don't worry, I'll wait. Yes, so the reason why Nikki Cross was kept in NXT is to have this storyline with Shayna Baszler. And while I disagree with that because I feel like she is main roster bound, I love Nikki Cross, but she's had so many opportunities at the NXT Women's Championship. I think more than any other woman in history. So I love Nikki. I have to say I love Nikki, but I do not see Nikki Cross defeating Shayna Baszler. I low-key stan Shayna Baszler so much right now. I just think she's so good. You know, she really wasn't like a year ago, but honestly, I'm becoming a firm believer that if you hone your talents, a lot could happen in 6 months to a year, you know? That's a lot of time, and I think Shayna has improved drastically. I think that, and I stand by this, I do think that they catapulted her a little bit too quickly, and I think it was a lot for her to take in, but that's by no fault of Shayna, you know? That's Triple H and the booking team in NXT, you know, they just skyrocketed her out of nowhere because of her name and her kind of like semi well-known name in the MMA world and being friends with Ronda. So I guess Triple H just figured it made sense because all the other women really didn't have a name to them in NXT and they have to build them. Even though they still have to build Shayna, she is a bigger name than everybody else in NXT in terms of the women's division. So I really like Shayna. I think she's improved a lot, and I think she's decent on the mic. I think people overlook her mic ability. I'm not saying she's one of the best mic talkers of all time, but she's quite good, and I can't wait to see what happens with her in the next 6 to 12 months because I think she's going to improve that much more, and I'm excited for this match. I think it's going to be a great match, and I don't know if this is going to be Nikki Cross's send-off match to the main roster, but I just feel like sanity is complete with Nikki Cross, in my opinion, and I just feel like Nikki Cross is sanity, you know? That's her embodiment, is being with sanity. That's in my opinion, of course, but Shayna Baszler is going to win here, and I think it's going to be a really fun match. Shayna Baszler, I'm not sure who's going to defeat Shayna Baszler. I was just thinking about that, but I think Shayna's going to have the title for a while, to be honest. I really do. You know, she is the biggest female star in NXT right now, and I don't think anyone's taking that crown anytime soon, to be honest. She's definitely running that division, and it's going to take a village to defeat Shayna. I really believe so. But I think Nikki Cross is going to give her a run for her money, but she is going to ultimately come up short. Shayna Baszler for the win. For the NXT Championship, we have Aleister Black defending against Lars Sullivan. Ooh, this match. I think that this match is actually going to be amazing, and I feel like a lot of people are overlooking it on social media, which I don't know why you would be. Lars is incredible for his stature. He's so good! So good! I have to yell at you guys because you guys do not understand how good Lars is. Aleister Black, I mean, you know, what could you say about Aleister that hasn't already been said? He's amazing, right? I think that this is interesting because Lars is undefeated, and Aleister has been defeated before by Adam Cole on a TV episode in a Fatal 4-Way, but I think that this match is going to be so good. It's so hard to pick here. I mean, just going off of reality, which sometimes they don't like to do, but realistically, Lars is so good, but I think he's going to take his first loss to Aleister Black at NXT Takeover Chicago 2. But that's nothing against Lars, because I think Lars is going to put on the match of his career this weekend, and I couldn't be more proud. Lars really improved from when I first saw him in NXT, and now that he's gaining a following and a lot of people are supporting him, you could just see how much he's growing, and I think this guy is money. I cannot wait till Lars gets called up. I'm honestly looking ahead, like when Lars and Braun Strowman feud, orgasm. Orgasm! Like, that's gonna be amazing. That's gonna be money. I cannot wait for that. And judging by what I see on social media, a lot of people share that same sentiment that I do, because Lars and Strowman, all I see is dollar signs when I think of those two. That's going to be amazing. Also, I would love to see Lars versus Brock Lesnar. Anyway, I'm getting off the topic. I see so much amazing, huge potential for Lars in the future. But I think this match is going to be amazing. I really do. I think you're going to see amazing stuff from both men. Aleister Black is definitely carrying NXT. For how long is the question. Much like Shayna Baszler, we don't know, but I'm assuming he's going to carry that brand for a while. So it would only make sense to have Lars lose, but I think the match is going to be incredible, and I think that if you really weren't a fan of Lars before, I think he's going to really open your eyes this weekend to show you how good he truly is. I have Aleister Black for the win. For the amazing main event in a Chicago street fight, we have Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa. What more can be said about this amazing, amazing feud? Dude, like, this match is going to 20 stars maybe? Why not? Let's just say it now. It's gonna be incredible. I have Tommaso Ciampa winning. I do think that they are going to have a third match at NXT Takeover Brooklyn, which I will be at, by the way. If you want to meet up with me, I'm going to post details about that in July, about a big meetup for SummerSlam weekend. But I think that it makes sense to have Tommaso Ciampa win this one, since Johnny Gargano won at NXT Takeover New Orleans 2 months ago. And I think that Tommaso Ciampa has to win this. It has to be, you know, because they're going to have a rubber match at TakeOver Brooklyn, and I think that's going to ultimately culminate this amazing year-long feud. To be honest, this is the best feud in NXT history. It truly is. My second favorite would be Sasha and Bayley. But this feud was so, like, I get goosebumps every time I talk about it. You know, Ciampa and Gargano have such amazing history. They're best friends in real life. You know, I always say, if you're good friends in real life, it always translates well via storyline, because you know each other so well. You can get away with a lot more because you trust the person, you're comfortable with the person, you know, you're not gonna like rub them the wrong way or, you know, hurt their feelings. You can kind of like be your true selves, and it really shows how authentic this storyline is, because they're truly like going wild, and I just love it. They're both so good. You know, Johnny Gargano is the true underdog. You know, how could you hate Johnny Gargano? He's amazing. Everybody loves him. And then you have this crazy, ruthless, villainous heel in Tommaso Ciampa, who doesn't even have a theme song, which is amazing. Let me just say that. That is incredible. It definitely makes him even more of a vile, repulsive heel. You know, always coming out to thunderous boos every single time he's on NXT. It's just amazing. Tommaso Ciampa is brilliant, and I cannot put him over enough. I'm going with Tommaso Ciampa to win here, because I do see them having a rubber match at TakeOver Brooklyn 4. But I actually want Tommaso Ciampa to win. I like Tommaso more than Johnny Gargano. There's just something incredibly special with Ciampa. I mean, if you follow him on social media, Twitter for instance, he's the best heel right now in wrestling. I don't care what anyone says, he's phenomenal, bar none. I'm going with Tommaso Ciampa. He's won me over the past couple of months. Blackheart for the win.